What is up, my peeps? Joshua Smith here with another GSD Mode Podcast interview. First off, thank you so much for tuning in, for checking out the show. Your support is massively appreciated. The only reason that this show exists is because of all of your amazing support. So we truly appreciate your support. I truly appreciate your support. Make sure that you're sharing the show with as many people that you feel would benefit from the show. The goal is to always grow this show and go out there and have a big impact. Real quick though, before we jump into today's podcast, I want to plug our sponsors that make all of this possible. Our first sponsor is my personal 90-day mastery bootcamp. This is my real estate agent mentorship training program. It's a group training platform. This way it makes it extremely affordable for you. Inside this program, however, I am unpacking my entire playbook. I'm walking you through step by step everything that I do inside my real estate business, everything that I've done, everything I've learned in my 12+ year career with selling over 5,000 homes, with selling over $1 billion in real estate. And I walk you through step by step exactly what I've done, how I built what I've built, and what I'm doing today to go out there and create this success. But don't mistake the low cost for low value. This is an insanely in-depth, step-by-step program where I'm walking you through, again, step-by-step on how I go out there. My team sells 1 to 2 homes every single day in today's market, continue to grow my business year after year, and how I've been able to exit from selling, exit from actually day-to-day involvement in my real estate team, and create an epic, amazing real estate team that not only sustains but grows without my involvement. So whatever level that you're at, whether you're a brand new real estate agent, you're an individual high-producing agent that wants to expand and create a team, or if you already have an amazing team, or you're a broker owner that's looking to step up your internal training, looking to step up your systems, your processes, your tracking, make your business more predictable, this program is absolutely for anybody that's serious about leveling up inside their business. So check us out, www.90daymastery.com. Make sure you use promo code LIVEMASTERY, all one word, all together, all caps. That's going to get you the biggest discount on 90daymastery.com. You're going to see tons of testimonials on there, video testimonials, what's included in the program, the future dates of the program. I do several of these every single year, so make sure to check us out and make sure to jump inside that program ASAP. My next sponsor that makes this show possible is PerfectStormNow.com. If you're a real estate agent and you are looking for a lead generation machine website backed by an insanely powerful CRM system that allows you to convert your leads to appointments at the highest possible level, manage all your tasks, make sure that you're effective and efficient as you possibly can be inside your business, transaction management component, all of that stuff. It is hands down by far the most effective and affordable real estate website and CRM program that exists out there in the industry. It's what I use to go out there and sell 650 plus homes every single year, and the system is gnarly. If you're signing up for that program, make sure to use promo code MASTERY, PSN, all caps, all one word, all together. That'll save you the $200 registration fee and get you a great discount. Our last sponsor is REO University. So I teamed up with a good buddy of mine who is the most knowledgeable dude, hands down, that I've ever met when it comes to REO properties. This guy used to work for the banks directly as an asset manager, and he developed so many of the systems that you see that asset managers and asset management firms and banks use today. This guy sold over 11,000 properties, foreclosure properties, as an asset manager. And he and I teamed up with my experience of working with over 35 banks in my career, selling thousands of REOs, plus his experience. We've created just an insane program. Again, REO University, the website is www.REO University. It's a one-time payment for $997, or you can split that up into 3 monthly payments. This is not a live boot camp like my 90-Day Mastery boot camp. This is something that you have access to instantaneously. We walk you through exactly how to go out there and get in with the banks. So how to get the business, but then how to service that business at the highest level, how to go out there and complete BPOs, how to complete cash for keys, how to make sure that you're insane at your valuations, how to go out there and make sure that your asset managers are winning and hitting their goals, key indicators you need to look for, and more. There's 22 in-depth, just amazing, powerful modules that will teach you how to become an REO machine inside your real estate business. Now, if you're like me, I don't want my business to ever be in a vulnerable position, right? I don't care if it's a good market, bad market. It doesn't mean that my business needs to be good or bad. My business can always be great during a market crash, right? There's no such thing as if the market's going to crash. It's just a matter of when, right? But again, you don't need to put yourself in a vulnerable position. You can make sure that your real estate business is 100% recession proof, and go out there and, of course, generate business, do a ton of business regardless of what's happening in the marketplace. And this is exactly how you go out there and do it. And we walk you through step by step. So check us out, REOMasteryUniversity.com. You can learn more about the program, hopefully register for the program, jump on in. This price will not last long, right? We just created this product, rolled it out several months ago, and just getting in the hands of the consumer, and people are having a lot of amazing success. So again, check us out, REOMasteryUniversity.com. All right, again, you guys, thank you so much for watching this show. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure to share the show. Make sure to comment. Like us on YouTube. Leave some positive comments. We love hearing back from you guys, and love getting your feedback. Keep kicking ass, and let's jump on into today's interview. What is up, my peeps? Joshua Smith here with another GSD Mode Podcast interview where every single week we interview top entrepreneurs, top real estate professionals, and those that are just out there dominating their spaces. They're people choosing to not live a life of mediocrity, but instead they're choosing to go out there and create big, amazing, epic lives for themselves, for their families, as well as have an impact on others. So you guys, today we have another rock star guest on our show. Our guest today is a very successful real estate investor, but also through his real estate investments, saw a need in the marketplace to go out there and create a software that helps real estate investors go out there and just create more success, right, with what they do. So real estate investor, co-founder of Dwell.co. So really stoked and honored to have Chris on the show. My friend.
Thank you very much, Josh. I'm really excited to be on, and I hope I can provide your audience with some value and talk a little bit about my story and help them get started if they're still getting started out.
Yeah, no, I love it, dude. So, one thing I'm always really intrigued about with our guests, and I listen to a lot of the podcasts, and it's just like tactical information about, strategy, whatever. And, as an entrepreneur, I think, one thing that people don't see, they see the success that you have today, but they don't see the journey that led there. And we go through some hell to create success. And I'm always just very intrigued in our guest journeys that led them to what they're doing. And, you start off, I don't want to say start off, but you became a very successful real estate investor, and you're still doing that, which then led to the software. And, but how did this journey start in the first place? Like, why real estate? Like, how did this all begin, dude?
Yeah. So back when I was in university, I actually thought I was going to go towards some type of medical school. I wasn't interested in business. I wasn't interested in real estate. I really didn't know anything about it. But I was actually renting as a student while I was at school. And I realized a lot of the inefficiencies in the way people currently manage their own businesses, dealing with student tenants, going to collect their rental checks, trying to effectively scale while still working in their business. And, that's what got me intrigued. And I also saw the amount of money that I was paying in rent every single month. And I realized, I could be paying a mortgage off, building up some equity in a property, and then eventually rent it out if I so choose. And it really didn't make much sense to me why a lot of people choose to always rent. And that's kind of how I got started.
Yeah, dude, I love that. So just a couple follow-up questions to that, man. So, you're this, I think one thing that's so jacked up with our education system is you're going through, elementary, junior high, high school, and then they're like, all right, you're 18 years old. You have zero life experience. Go out there and, choose what you want to do for the rest of your life, which you're like, all right, maybe medical school, whatever. But through that, dude, you started connecting these dots, right? I get maybe if somebody was in their mid 30s and they had the life experience to maybe start thinking about some of those things, but you're a young cat, at this time. Did you did you have some type of like, were your parents entrepreneurial or or has your mind always kind of been that way where you just, are kind of really analytical and connecting the dots or like, I mean, that's.
Yeah, no. My dad was actually a salesman and my mom's an accountant. So I really never had that entrepreneurial background, but I always was, ever since I was a kid, buying and selling shoes, buying and selling anything online, always trying to make a buck in some way or another. And, I was always attracted to the entrepreneur mindset because you really have your freedoms to do things the way that you see fit. And you can connect the dots in the way that you feel like will lead you to your end goal. And stuck in some type of corporate environment, you have a lot less freedom to do that. And to me, that was always attractive. And to me, that's also what led me towards real estate. I actually got to reading a couple books. I got to listen to a lot of podcasts and, saw the way that other people got started on their entrepreneurial journey. And that's really what enticed me towards where I am today.
Yep. Love it, dude. So then at that point, right. I mean, you're just analyzing what's taking place. You're seeing the inefficiencies. You're seeing some big opportunity. But was the plan to just kind of have this as like a side hustle and continue with the med school, or what happened next?
Yeah, so to get started, I actually spent every day of my last year at university in the library, and I knew nothing about business. I knew nothing about real estate, and I spent every day researching and trying to get more into the nitty-gritty of the ins and outs of how the leasing process, the ins and outs of acquiring property, the ins and outs of actually renting out that property. And, I just spent a lot of time online, and the answers are all out there, but you have to want to look. You really have to go every day and be motivated to learn one thing new that can help you get to where you want to be. And, I really chipped at it tooth and nail every single day, trying to get to the point where I'm at now. I thought it was going to be a side hustle. I was going to take a job, and I was going to either take a job or I was going to go to graduate school. But this ended up picking up and required me to take it full time, and that's kind of how I got to where I am now too.
So did you stay the path of medical school, or do you go in that craft, or did you shift the degree to more business, or?
Yeah, no, when I realized it required my full time and my full effort, and I think that if you're going to run a business, I think that it really does require your full time and your full effort if you want it to be as successful as it could be. So a lot of people, they don't have the ability to do so. And I definitely understand that. It's hard when you have a family to support. It's hard when you have kids. It's hard to just go and make that leap and that jump out to the entrepreneurial land. But, I had the ability to do so. And I was like, why not now? If you don't take that risk, you're never going to know what it could have been. So that's why I took the leap, and I ended up saying, listen, I'm going to make this full time. And if it works, great. And if it doesn't, I learned a lot along the way. The only thing that you can lose is your time, and your time is very valuable, but you can learn so much more by just going and doing. And that's really what made me want to do it full time.
Yep. So love it, dude. So, all right. So then, you've been doing all this research, spending your last year just obsessed and, learning. Then you decide, all right, man, I'm going to go at this thing and give it everything I've got. How'd you get started? Right. Cause there's, our show's, vastly real estate agents that listen to the show, right. And I know most real estate agents I talk to, their dream is to become a real estate investor. So they're their own client. Right. But there's all these, oh man, it costs so much money. Where do I start? Whatever. I'm guessing at that position, you didn't have, we weren't $1 million liquid to just go out there and start buying investments. So what did that path then, start once you made that decision?
I think the biggest path for a lot of people to get started is to go out there in person. I got started, I looked up on meetup.com, and I looked for a couple real estate investor meetings that exist in my area, and they're free to attend. These people provide you with great value. They're people that have been doing it for 10, 20 years. And I went out there and I just started to network. I just started to meet people face to face, hear the problems that they face in their business. I constantly ask them questions like, how'd you get started? What were those first couple steps that you took? what challenges did you run into? And I really tried to use the resources around me, not just online, but the people. And, that's really how I got started. And that's how I learned pretty much most in the beginning.
Yeah. Now with those, I when I interview a lot of investors and a lot of investor friends that I have, similar path. I think those like meetup groups, dude, are so underutilized, right? Because there's so much opportunity and so many relationships that you can have there, and but a lot of them, it's like, hey, I started doing these, got the education there, but I found a successful investor that we were able to partner up in ways, and I had an abundance of time. They had the money but didn't have the time. I was able to go, did that lead to those relationships to get the start, or what did that look like?
Yeah. So, a lot of these investors currently have a way that they manage their own business and the way that they manage their own time. So I realized that, if you're a realtor, if you're myself, if you're anyone, if you can bring some type of value to them up front, and you can really just show them that, hey, listen, I can help you with this. I can help you save time. I can help bring you more deals. As long as you're bringing something to the table and you're providing some value up front, they're willing to hear you out. And, a lot of these guys, they need the help. They want to expand their business. They want to acquire more properties. They might not have all the time in the world. And, if you can either provide them with a deal, you can provide them with some type of value, whether it be finding deals, whether it be pairing them with someone that can help them in their business. They are definitely willing to help you out. I really believe real estate is a people business. And I think that the more value you provide to people and the more genuine you are towards people, I feel like there's a lot of help out there if you just go and look for it.
Yeah. So, all right. So, and that sounds kind of like what, where you got this start then is seeing where you could be that value, right? Which I'm sure in the beginning is kind of scary, because you're like, dude, these are seasoned investors, so they're way more knowledgeable than me. They have way more money than me. They're way more successful. How do I bring value? What would you give to a suggestion to somebody that, because I'm sure there was probably, maybe not to you or maybe to you, right? A lot of limiting beliefs that are taking place in that environment. It's probably got to be pretty intimidating.
Yeah, especially me coming in as a younger person. A lot of these people are tenured. They're not going to take you too seriously if you're not actually going and doing things. It's more or less like coming to them with some type of action. Say if you're a realtor getting started, if you bring them a couple deals, you show it to them. A lot of people need to be shown things. And, if you can bring that to them in person, you follow up with them, you answer their emails, you respond to them. It's that extra effort that gets you noticed. A lot of people aren't willing to do that. And if you can capitalize on that, I feel like that's what's led me to obtain a lot of customers for my business. That's also what's led me to get my first couple investments as an investor.
Yeah. Yeah. And I got to imagine too, dude, like you said earlier, you can only, you can learn a lot from stuff in your Facebook books and listen to podcasts, but, to really learn it, you got to jump in the game. But, now you're starting to be able to break down and see, okay, like, what are the correlations between exactly how they buy, what their process is, what they're doing, and build that model off of what they're doing. Yeah, right. I'm sure, dude, it just becomes a huge asset.
Yeah, and a lot of the times I feel like people are always looking for, what are some ways that I can go and I can be successful, and they come up with all these ideas, but there's already proven ways to be successful out there. There's already proven methods that work. So just find one of those methods that works for you, and you're going to save a lot of time, and, you're going to not trip up as much just trying to do what you think is going to work. That's another thing too. So I met a couple investors who, they told me the way they do things, and, that was really how I learned. I came down with a notebook every time. I would write down notes on like how they would go about acquiring a property, how they would go about marketing their property, how they would go about finding service professionals to help them manage their property. And, there's proven models out there, like I said, and, if you just find one that's really works well for you and you think you can make it happen, it doesn't hurt to experiment. Even if one might not work as well for you, you can try different things. Always coming up with something original isn't always the answer. So that's kind of how I got into my own investments, and that's really how I helped me get started.
Yeah. So then when you started investing, man, because it like when this journey started, it was, student housing and on the rental side, and that, seemed lucrative. And, but I know a lot of investors, to help raise capital, like they might start flipping some homes and eventually get to the point where they're doing, able to do buy and holds. Like what was your strategy when you first started investing yourself, and how has that also changed over the years?
Yeah, so when I first got into it, a traditional loan was really helpful to get me started, an FHA loan. For listeners who may not know what that is, it's typically 3% down. The government incentivizes you to buy your first home, and that helped me get into my first property. It's a multi-family property, and that was honestly the biggest help to me. And once you prove that you can go and effectively acquire a property and manage it, other options open up. So, I became friendly with a couple private money lenders, hard money lenders. The money's out there, and you just got to go and build the relationships with the people that do have the money. Mortgage brokers, like I said, hard money lenders, even the sellers. Sometimes you can get seller financing on the properties to go and acquire them, and you don't even need money down. I feel like people believe that they need all this money to get started, and that's not always the case. Sometimes you just got to knock on those doors, make those phone calls, and you can get a property or two that'll help you get started.
Yeah, dude. And man, I love, how you got your start and what you brought up there. I think that this is like, dude, I don't have a lot of regrets, right? Like you learn and it is what it is, but like, man, one of my regrets is not going out there. My first house, single family attached house, and wasn't married, no kids. There was 23 years old. Yeah. Right. Like I wish to God, cause like you said, FHA loan, 3.5% down payment, right? You can buy what, up to a fourplex, right?
Yeah.
On that, like, why the hell, I didn't, think about it or have the smarts to do it at that point in my life, but those that are watching like kids or whatever, or if you're getting a first time buy, man, I mean, that is the smartest strategy like on the freaking planet, to initiate that career of real estate investing and building wealth. Cause you buy a fourplex, you got your unit, right? Then those other 3 units, right, are covering what you'd pay your mortgage, plus you're probably cash flowing, right? And then what? You got to live in there, 2 years or whatever, then you can refi it, then take that capital and buy the next one and the next one. And
yeah, and you could leverage that to go into other properties. And I had no idea this existed until I went to one of those meetups, and a guy came up to me and he was like, yeah, you ever hear of a FHA loan for your first property? And I was like, I had no idea what that was. And he was like, yeah, you only need 3% down for your first property, 2 years of W-2 forms, and, you could get approved. And I was like, really? And that was, really eye-opening for me. And I would have never learned that if I had not gone to those meetings.
Yep. Love it, man. So, all right. So you're continuing this, continuing to, just reinvest and grow your portfolio. And, how does that lead to the software, right? I mean, was it just one of these things where you're like, damn, I mean, you got to the point where you were looking for a solution for your own problems and then discovered that others could use this, or like, how did it all begin?
Yeah. So my co-founders, one of them, he's a realtor with Remax, and he actually owns his own properties as well. And then my other co-founder is a technical partner, and he builds our website. He built everything out. We kind of came together, and we all realized there was an opportunity out there, especially because I was realizing like picking up the check was really inefficient. Going and finding service professionals was really time consuming. And a lot of the traditional ways of managing properties was inefficient. And, we kind of threw our heads together and we looked what was out there. And there are other softwares out there, but they're primarily built for property management companies. And a lot of the time as an investor, you have to go and manage the property manager. And we were like, well, if you have to go and manage the property manager, why not just be able to manage the whole process yourself? Because at the end of the day, your money's on the line, and you ride a fine line between turning a profit and taking a loss. And at the end of the day, we believe that you should have control over your properties. And that's kind of what led us to get into the software. It's a whole nother world and a whole nother world of challenges, but, one that I was looking forward to, and one that, I'm still working at every single day.
Yeah, love it, dude. So, all right, so talk to us about the software and what it does, and I mean, because when it comes to technology, right, it's all about making people's lives more efficient, allowing them to be more effective, and go out there and grow and expand. And yeah, I mean, just kind of break it down, like what is it that you guys do, and how does it help those that are investors? Because dude, I mean, that is such a pain in the ass, manage your own properties and having to deal with it's a pain in the ass, man.
Absolutely. So, a lot of times we realize technology is made for people that make it, the people actually developing it, and it doesn't feel like it's made for the people that use it. So we started to create a software that helps you manage the payment and financial end of your properties, because that's another thing I realized too, going in. I didn't have an accounting background. I didn't have a robust financial background where I understood what it took to scale from 2 to 100 properties. And I feel like that's a problem that a lot of other investors face. So we wanted to create a simple financial performance tracking and accounting software for real estate investors, so that this way, when their money comes in the door every month, it's accounted for them. They know what type of cash flow they're getting. They know whether or not they're taking a loss. They know whether or not their payments are late. And, they're always in control. So that's kind of the overarching theme of our site. But what we allow you to do, in short, is we allow you to collect your rental payments online through bank to bank. So the difference between us and other payment intermediaries is, on our site, you can block partial payments, so that this way your tenant has to pay in full every single month. You can collect a one-time fee for your properties. So if you collect a parking fee or a pet fee, it helps you consolidate all these payments into one place, so that this way, at the end of the month, you know that all your payments for property A, B, and C are all there. It was really to help investors organize things so they can effectively spend more time searching for more deals.
Yeah, and it's all in one central place, right? Which I love, because, man, you get to the point where, because I mean, all right, let's just say you're operating like most, let's just say maybe, smaller to mid-size investors. Maybe they're operating on Google Drive and they've got a separate spreadsheet for every single property. And it's like, damn, by the end of the day, you've ran through 10 different tabs, 10 different sheets. And, then it's hard to connect the dots and correlate and, see the performance.
Yeah, and that's another thing we realized too. And some of these investors have a full-time job, and when you come home at the end of the day, you want to spend time with your family. You want to spend time looking for that next deal or doing the things you enjoy doing. You don't want to spend time managing all these spreadsheets. You don't want to spend time going online and just making sure those payments came in. So we really wanted to help do that. And, that's essentially the basics of our software right now. We help you with the leases as well. This way you and your tenant always have access to the lease. When the lease is about to expire. Your tenants can also receive notifications for when their payments are due, so they don't forget. They can also receive notifications when you want to go and visit your property. It's more or less to streamline the communication and the payments right now. But we are working towards a pretty robust accounting system to help make sure that at the end of the year, you can export your taxes to your accountant and everything's there for them. You don't have to spend that extra buck to go and get those taxes filed, because we know that's a headache as well.
Now, is it kind of like a team-based software as well, where with your vendors and wherever, like you talk about, hey, like let's just say I have somebody that I pay to go out there and task for the inspections, right? But instead of me being tasked, and you have that task go to multiple people, and as well as bank-to-bank vendor payment systems. Is it again, can you manage your team out of it?
That's actually a great point. And, it's something that we've been requested to have with our current customers, and we are working towards that. Right now, you can pair any type of service professional you have for your properties to the site, so that this way your plumber, your electrician, you have like a kind of like a directory for each property, and your tenant or yourself can go and just easily contact them. You don't have to remember their information. You don't have to go searching through your phone. But we are building in a pretty robust maintenance feature, so that this way your tenant can upload a picture or video of the issue, and it can be sent right to your service professional. And kind of just helps create transparency between you, the tenant, and the service professional. So that this way the tenant always knows what's going on. They know when the service professional is coming to fix the issue. And this way you feel comfortable knowing that that job was completed. It's definitely something we're working towards. We're not quite there yet. We're still in those early stages, but we just want to build it out right now so it's simple and easy to use, because a lot of the things out there it's just a pain in the neck to use it.
Yeah, I agree, man. It's I use just like all of us, right? You get to the point where you're using so many different systems, you're bouncing back and forth. And yeah, some of these, dude, it's like, damn, you gotta have a degree, to figure this shit out. Simplicity is the key. Cause like you said too, most investors that, at least I know now, I'm not, right? I'm a real estate agent, have a team and selling real estate for 13 years. And we definitely work with and have some clients that are professional investors that are investing very heavily, but the vast majority of investors that exist out there, and I don't know what the stats are, but are just your typical, person that, on the side has maybe 3 or 4 rentals that they've acquired over the years. And, right, they need that simplicity. Like you said, dude, after a 60-hour work week, right, to come home, just be able to manage it, see it, and do it in a very quick, efficient fashion.
Yeah, no, I like that you touch on realtors a lot. And I know that's a big part of your audience. And I wanted to touch on realtors as well. So like you said, some of these landlords only own 1 or 2 or 4 properties. They don't always know what realtors are in their area. They don't always know who's reputable, who's actually getting deals done, who they can go to and get their property sold quickly. So we're actually trying to leverage the relationships we have with realtors as well to pair our customers to them, so that our investors always have someone in case they need to show their rental or they want to go and sell it. That's something that we're working towards as well, because that was my biggest thing coming into this, and I realized like real estate is all about relationships, and how can we go and provide value to every type of professional in the industry. And that's like our long-term goal. And that's something that we really want to achieve.
Yep. Love it, dude. So then, what does it look like with, is it something that you pay X amount of dollars and you get X amount of, properties. And when you hit this tier, it goes up. And, cause like we just talked about, a lot of landlords have just the 1Z or 2Zs or just a few. And you see all these other softwares out there, like you said, that are really built for property managers, which then makes them extremely expensive and unaffordable for that person that, just has the couple properties.
Yeah. So I love to announce it. And people always look at me a little shocked, but, we're free to use currently for investors for our base, payment software and our notification system. The only cost associated with our service is $2.50 when the tenant sends you rent. Currently that is charged to the tenant, but eventually, hopefully within the next month, you'll be able to split that cost with the tenant if they give you any blowback. We haven't really gotten that just for $2.50, but we want to accommodate both the tenant and the investor. And we don't want to take money out of the investor's pocket. And that's what a lot of these other softwares do. They charge you for leases. They charge you for this, that, and the other thing. So when we release our other features as well, it'll be like an a la carte. If you want to have accounting, it'll be a subscription per month, and it'll be a very base, clear, simple pricing. Because that's another thing too. A lot of these softwares out there, not just in real estate, but CRMs, all these other management systems, they tack on all these other fees, and they're not transparent in their pricing. And we don't want to be like that. We want to be very clear with our customer base.
Yeah, man. So it's like I use Infusionsoft pretty heavily, and right? It's $299, and my builder month is like $1,200 of all the different add-ons. And I like the system, I like the add-ons, but you get into it thinking, it's only gonna be $300 a month. Yeah, we can do that, and you don't realize it's actually gonna be $1,200 a month.
Yeah, anything that affects the investor's bottom line, we don't want to take that away. Like, we want to effectively help you go from 1 property to 100. We don't want to keep you at 1 property, because the more properties you have, the more we help you, the more it helps ourselves. And, I believe like that in business. The more that you can bring value to someone else and help them grow their business, the more you can grow your own. You're not losing anything. There's so many options out there. There's so many ways to make money. There's so many ways to do things. And by taking money away from other people and, really taking away from their business, you're not actually achieving anything. You're just kind of like the rest of the competition.
Yeah. Love it, dude. Love it, man. No, that's killer. And then can't beat free, dude. I was a little shocked when you said that, man. I was expecting $100 a month, would be more than, fair value to pay for something like this. And, right. Yeah, shit. It's a no brainer.
Yeah. We want to really, bring people in the door, see what they need. Everyone manages in their own way. And, we really don't want to change the way that people currently manage their own properties, currently the way that people manage their own businesses. So we just want to provide a solution that encompasses all of those things and is really friendly. And, charging all this money out of the gate, I feel like it's a lot harder to get people in the door. So, when with your service too, as a realtor, as any type of service professional in real estate, the more that you can give educational value, tips, training, whatever it is, the more you can put out there on social media and all your marketing channels, it will really help you get people in the door. And it's something that's been effective for us. So not only the free model, but like the free content we give away, the free help, the customer service, whatever you can do to really help resonate with the people that are buying from you, they'll go and refer your service out. If you do a great job for them, they'll remember that. And, the next time they need a house sold or the next time their friend needs a house sold, you'll be the first person they call.
Yep. I love that, dude. Now what if you, I'm just thinking about myself here, right? Okay, let's just say I've got one of my properties where, I'm charging my tenant $1,200 a month, amazing tenant. I don't want to disrupt that, but I'd sign up for your software. You talk about the $250 charge that gets passed to them as they pay. But I'm like, man, I don't, maybe a non-issue, but, I don't know if the landlords are like, hey, man, I don't want to hit him with this. This is an amazing tenant, right? Is there a switch where you can just choose instead to receive $2.50 or less?
Yeah, that's a great question too. So you could actually set it up where your rent is $2.50 less. Yeah. If you want to do it that way. But within, like I said, within the month, we should have it where if you want to take that whole $250 off them and you want to pay it just because it's a great tenant, you don't want to agitate them. We realized that's something that our customers wanted, and that's something we went and gone and built. And that's another thing too with our software. We realized whatever our customers want, whatever the customers want most, we're going to go and build, because at the end of the day, they're the ones using it, not us. And that's another thing with your service. You should do whatever the customers want, because at the end of the day, they're the only reason why you exist. So yeah, I hope that answered it.
Yeah, and I love that, man. That's how I can always tell you've got a great software company and a great software owner is because, so many of these different companies, man, they get very arrogant in their ways, and this is the only path, and they don't listen to the consumer. They don't listen to their customer. And, I have a software company as well. And dude, we get requests sometimes where I'm like, dude, that is so freaking stupid. What would how would this ever impact your business? I want to get them on the phone and just do a coaching session to tell them how ludicrous that is. But it gets to a point where I always say that software is yours until the day that you release it to the marketplace. Once released to the marketplace, right? It's no longer yours, right? It's your customers, right? It's your entire job to facilitate what they want. And the fact that you guys listen so much to your customer and are building out what they want, man, that speaks very high volumes.
Yeah, and it helps make a real difference, and we've noticed it. And it's hard when you get to the point where it scales, and you're servicing clients that have thousands of properties. It's very hard to change things because they currently like things the way they are. So it's more or less testing too, testing your service, testing whatever you're providing, and making sure that you're not upsetting your current customers while also trying to please new customers. And it's a pretty heavy balancing act, but the better you are at effectively playing that, the more your business will grow and the more you'll see leads come in the door.
Yeah. And this is something because it's something that, I'm always reflecting on my own life, right, as well with this is, you get to the point where you got multiple businesses, multiple things, and there's sometimes that you're pulled a little bit more to one side, and and I know that there's no reason why it'd have to be an either or. You can continue your real estate investing career and buy more properties with the software, but now that you have both, man, do you see one that just seems to be pulling you towards it more, where it just excites you that much more?
I mean, the real estate as a whole just excites me. I don't know why. I'm not really sure what made me gravitate towards it, but I'll continue to do both. I will, it's a juggling act, and it requires my full time to work on the software. But you work those nights, you work those weekends. If you want it, you'll go and get it. And I wholeheartedly believe that. It's not always about working harder; it's working smarter. But if you can do both, that's powerful.
Yeah, love it, dude. So, like from just listening to you and observing, the conversation and like I feel like I know what it is, but I mean, you're I don't know how old you are, but you're a young dude, right? No matter what, like you're a young dude kicking ass, creating success, and I mean, and more so than probably a lot of people do, their whole entire life, right? So, what do you feel that's attributed to your success more so than anything else, and be able to create the success at such a young age?
It's a couple things. I always love learning. I'm attracted to always learning and learning what works better. And, the more I learn, the more I want to go out and learn more, the more I want to go out and become successful. And, I feel like everyone else has their own motivations, but my personal drive is to actually just make a difference, leave a lasting impact, because, the legacy that you leave is more important than the dollars that you make. It's more important than, the business deals that you make. The more you can impact people, the more you can go out there and make a difference in their businesses and help make a difference in their lives. That's really what drives me towards wanting to build this software and wanting to be a real estate investor, because at the end of the day, I'll have the abilities to give back in one way or another, whether it be education, whether it be going and helping people with the software, whether it be going to events and sponsoring them. You put yourself in a higher position of power to help other people. And I think that's my main driving factor.
Yeah. Love it, dude. So, all right. So, if Chris today, like knowing everything right now that you've learned, and having the wisdom that you have today, could go back and have a conversation with, Chris while you were in college, like when you just kind of had this epiphany, if you will, and have a conversation with your younger self and give yourself 2 pieces of advice that you feel would have just, saved you from some of this pain, some of the pains that you had experienced and allowed you to fast forward your trajectory to success, what would those 2 things be?
One thing would definitely be, don't be scared to expose yourself. Put yourself out there. It doesn't matter at the end of the day if you put out a bad interview, you put out a bad piece of content. It's not the end all be all. The more you put out there, the more you test what works and what doesn't. Just don't be scared to experiment. And that's something I would probably say to myself, because I was very in line. I was like, this is the way that things need to be done. I was very disciplined in that regard. But the more you experiment, the more you learn, and that's helped. And I guess one other thing would be definitely, I would have told myself to get into real estate earlier. And I realized the power of real estate and creating passive generational wealth, and really giving you the freedoms to explore the things that you want to explore.
Yeah. So then if we could take it a step further, and you could go talk to yourself at 18 before you went to college. Now, I know going to college is what opened your mind to this. So if that didn't happen, potentially, I mean, it's all theoretical, but you may not be where you are today, right? Even though you're probably not using the damn thing of your college degree, right? But if you could have that conversation with yourself, I mean, what would that look like?
Yeah. I mean, I guess it would just be more practical advice. It would be more, stick to what you know, but, continue to try and expand outside of your comfort zone. Continue to try and get into different things, like learn a little bit more about things that you think may not be of interest to you, because you never know what might lead you to be successful.
Yeah. Yeah. And, it's just one of the, dude, like I was reading the other day on the Census Bureau that 40% of Americans have student loan debt. And it just beat out credit cards for the highest debted thing in our country. Right? I'm sitting there thinking about that. I'm like, what is the percentage of careers or jobs that people actually have, occupations that require a degree? Like, dude, if you're going to work on somebody's brain, okay, there's no way around it. You got to go do it. Right? But like, does that number need to be 40% or should it be like 5%? Right? Like, I can't imagine or fathom it's just insane, dude. But it's kind of scary about it. We're just sold this traditional model, man, right? Like you go to high school, you go to college, you try to get this good job, and it's ludicrous, man.
It's a very profitable but very poor business model, and I think eventually it'll crash and burn, especially because you learn everything you want to learn on YouTube. I learned everything myself. I went to school and I read. That's what I did. I didn't really listen, but to me it's more about like what you want to do, and it's more about finding what you want to do, because a degree is not going to tell you that. It's more about validation than actually getting an education for a lot of people. And it's kind of sad because they're like, you need to do this in order to get a job, but I don't actually think that's the case. I think the more that you can build relationships with people, and the more people can see you for your value, and you put your value up front, you'll have no problem.
Yeah. So, if anybody's watching, not if anybody, those that are watching this or seeing this, right? Because dude, you're a very focused, driven, that's why you're on the Get Shit Done Mode podcast, right? Like you get done in your life, you don't mess around, right? But I'm sure there's times where, days that you have where you're like, man, I don't want to do any of this. I don't want to, like, right? Like maybe you're like, I don't want to pick up that book today, or, like I just want, right? Like when you have those moments, because we all experience them, right? Like what do you do to keep pushing forward and not allow yourself to experience that burnout so you don't pause and, and have that negative setback?
I really think, I believe in fitness. I go to the gym every day, but I think every day looking in the mirror and telling yourself like, this is what I want. And, I'm not going to do anything that stands in the way of getting that. And fitness has really helped me with that. I just try and keep my body healthy. And I think if you keep your body healthy, it keeps your mind healthy. And I mean, that extra cup of coffee always doesn't hurt, but it really helps me stay focused, and it's like an outlet for me. So I would just say, find an outlet that works for you. For me, it's the gym. For other people, it might be going fishing, spending time with your kids, whatever it is. Don't feel bad to hit that release every now and again, because the pressure really does build up on you, especially when you're just starting out as an entrepreneur. It's a lot on your shoulders. So, if you take a couple hours, you take a day off, it's not the end of the world. Don't feel like it's the end of the world. It'll just help you come back that next day that much stronger.
Yeah. I love that you brought that up, man. And I don't know if this is true for you, but, at least it is for me, man, because I'm a gym rat, myself. And, sometimes like, oh man, I don't have time to go to the gym today, right? But I slap myself around. I force myself to go. But taking that, like you said, hit that pause button. And then when I go to the gym, right, and I'm in a different environment, I'm there, man, I get more clarity and have more great ideas when I do that, or like go on a hike or whatever, right? Like there's a lot of power that can come from hitting that pause button.
Absolutely. It's a mental break for yourself, because, a lot of the times you push yourself so hard and you don't realize that you're not working at maximum efficiency, and, it kind of detracts from where you're trying to be. And it's hard for some people, their money's on the line, at the end of the day. If it fails, a lot of people have a lot on the line to lose. But you can't really let that scare you. You really just got to take those couple minutes for yourself, and your health should come first and foremost before anything else.
Yep. Love it, man. So, I know we talked about the software company and gave the name, but just in case, because I want to make sure that nobody missed this, right? Because if you're listening to this, it's something that you can use in your own life, but something that, as real estate agents, man, we have so many clients that are in this, that this software can help. It's not just for professional investors, right? It's your client that just has a rental here and there, whatever. And the fact that it's a free service, I think as real estate agents, man, it's like you've talked about, Chris, so much is, we're really at the end of the day, we're in the human resource, human relationship business, right? And the more value that we can give to them. And I think, as real estate agents, when we have clients in this situation, be able to give them this free tool or just point them in the right direction, man. It just adds more value to us as real estate agents. So I think it's something that, every real estate agent needs to kind of have in their pocket to be able to offer this, whether it's themselves or their clients. So can you just repeat, dude, the name of the company and exactly where they go to get signed up?
Absolutely. And so it's www.dwel.co. That's .co. And, you can get signed up on the site. There's no contracts, nothing. It's free to sign up. As a realtor, if you're interested, we also have a great referral program for realtors. You get financial incentive for giving us leads. And, we try and kick that value back to you by providing you with leads for sellers and leads for showings. But if there's any other ways I can help realtors as well, I always look to explore other ways I can help bring value. So feel free to reach out to me. My email is chris.finn@dwel.co. Feel free to send me an email. I'm always happy to hop on a call and anything I could do to help.
Yeah, love it. And those that are watching us will have all those links right below. But yeah, this is something that's, again, all of you should take advantage of. There's really nothing else out there, at least that I've experienced or seen in the marketplace. Something that you can use, something that clients can use. And as Chris just said, Ben, I think the fact that, the referral, network exists and the affiliate where you can earn income. I mean, it's a no damn brainer. Like if you don't go down there and sign up right now and do that, like to me, that's the first thing I'm doing when I hang up on this podcast. So, but anyway, those that are watching, listening, I know I never podcast with this, but information without implementation truly is the start of delusion. Information is the power. It's taking that information, taking action on it that creates the power for you to create the life that you want and deserve. And Chris talked about so much of that today. He didn't just spend, a year or two in the library stuffing his faces in books. He did that to get the knowledge base, but then he went out there and took massive action on it that then created that success. So make sure you guys are taking action so you can create the life you want and deserve. And Chris, man, appreciate you being here. Appreciate you taking time out of your busy day to be here. This has been a lot of fun.
Thank you, Josh. I appreciate it.
Yep, 100%, man. All right, you guys, thanks again for watching. Listen, we'll see you next time.
Thanks, guys.